Welcome again, guys. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the mathematics performance task sample question that we have. The performance task is a type of assessment that requires students to show what they know, what they understand, and what they are able to do. The performance task allows students to demonstrate their knowledge and skills practically that serves as evidence of their learning. And we cannot say this part enough. You must show some form of evidence of what you have learned. This document addresses 2 of the 5 items on the mock performance task for the mathematics. It focuses on item 2 and item number 3 of part 1. The document explores what is being measured by these items and how the students were assessed. It also provides samples of students' responses to those 2 items on the mock PT. These tests are designed to measure how much you know about a particular topic. So here's a brief description now of the PT in math. So students were given a real-life scenario in which they were asked to fence off a place in their backyard in preparation for a new pet, a dog, that they were going to get. Before fencing off the place in the backyard, the students were given several constraints and parameters to consider. Instructions were given regarding the shape that both the backyard and fenced off place should be, the area of both the backyard and fenced off place, a budget within which to work. The task had 3 parts. Part 1, students were asked to design a place for the dog, that's the fenced off area, based on the information that is given. Part 2, students were to use the least amount of money to purchase the fencing for the dog based on options given. And part 3, students were to use a table provided to make decisions as to supplies to purchase the dog and explain whether or not they had enough money to buy the dog, supplies, and build the fence based on the budget they were given. So this real life scenario is going to pull a lot of mathematical skills together and reasoning in order to properly answer this section. So here are the general instructions. This task has 3 parts. Part 1 has 3 questions. Part 2 and 3 and 4 have 1 question each. It says buying a new pet. You are getting a new pet. It is a dog. Your mom wants to fence off a place for the dog in the backyard. You will need to consider the following for your new dog: whether you have enough space for the dog, the cost of the items needed to care for the dog. Your mother needs your help to fence off the place for the dog. The fencing and the supplies you need for the dog, example the food and so on, should cost less than $30,000. So here we have an idea of what this should look like. So you have the house, there'll be some form of a backyard, but within that space we need to have the area for the dog. Alright, so let's go on now. Part 1, designing a place for the dog. A dog needs enough space to move, turn around, sit and run. This table shows 3 dogs and how much space each dog needs. So we have place for the dog. So we have types of dogs and we have space needed in square feet. So we have a terrier, fairly small dog. It only needs 4 square feet. We have a boxer that needs 6 square feet. And we have the German Shepherd that needs all of 10 square feet. Now let's go with this again. Again, this is a table, and a table will have rows and it will have columns. We notice that we have here a title, and then we have this column that says what types of dog. Then we have this column here that says the space needed, and it gives us that information. So remember how to read your table properly. Now the instructions for fencing off the place for the dog are as follows. The backyard is 400 square feet. So that's the total area of the backyard. The backyard is shaped like a rectangle. So we're going to need to remember this. The fenced off place for the dog must be shaped like a rectangle. The fenced off place must have an area that is not larger than 1/4 of the area of the backyard. So it must not be greater than 1/4 of whatever this is. All right, 1/4 of the 400. The fenced off place must have an area that is equal to or larger than the area needed for the type of dog you have chosen. So if you chose, for example, the German Shepherd, the area for the German Shepherd cannot be less than 10 square feet. So I couldn't build an area for the Terrier of 4 and then take the German Shepherd and put into that area, because it would not be enough for the German Shepherd to what? Sit, run, turn around and so on. Now it says here, write the type of dog you selected here. On the grid, draw the outline of the backyard. So this must be the whole 400 square feet. You have to draw the outline of the 400 square feet and show the fenced off place for the type of dog you selected. Label the fenced off. So again, this verb is important. So you see this one says draw the outline here. So we have to look at these verbs carefully, so that when we're answering the question, we know exactly what we're supposed to do. Here, we must draw. Here it says we need to what? Label. All right. Let me get this better. So we need to label. Okay. So we need to label the fenced off area and the backyard, and be sure to include their measurements. So we can't just label it alone. We must include the measurements. So if the measurements are not included, I guess we're going to get a lower level in terms of the overall response. Each box in the grid represents 1 square foot. Okay, that again is important information. Based on your design, complete the table below. So here, area in square feet and perimeter. Now, area, I'm going to need to know how to find area, and I'm going to need to know what perimeter is, and of the fenced off place. Okay, all right. Let's see what the examiners have to say here. The objectives from the NSC associated with part 1 of the text are, all right, so solve problems based on computing the measurement of the area of a rectangular region. So if I don't know what area is, if I don't know what rectangular means, then I'm going to have a problem. And all of this is based on what? The unit called what? Measurement. So we must be able to measure things. All right. Compute the measurement of the area of rectangular regions using square centimeter or square meter as a unit. All right. In this particular one, they're talking about square feet, right? But again, not anything hard for us to understand, right? We just need to understand that square units are used to represent area. Find the area of polygons by counting squares. Okay, that's exactly what we just said a while ago. Solve problems requiring the calculation of one of the following: perimeter, length of one side, the number of sides of a regular polygon given the other two measures, right? Estimate, measure, and record distances, including the perimeter of polygons in millimeters or centimeters and meters. The questions in part 1 are used to measure how students are able to use the diagram to represent the information in the given task. In this case, the students were asked to draw the diagram on a square grid. Additionally, question 3 in part 1 is being used to measure how well the students are able to calculate area and perimeter. All right, so that's the objective that the ministry has. Let's see how well we would be able to respond. Here is the scoring rubric. So here are the scores: 3, 2, and 1. We have description. So for you to get a 3, this is what you need to do. Constructed a rectangular yard that is 400 square feet, for example 20 by 20 or 16 by 25, and a fenced off rectangular area for the dog that is no more than 100 square feet, and we soon get back to how they calculated this 100, but larger than or equal to the space needed for the dog. Remember, there are 3 different types. Space should be clearly labeled and have dimensions. Minor error, only one space labeled or incomplete labeling or something like that could allow you to get the 3. Again, we aim for perfection. Aim to get everything done according to the requirements that are asked of you. Now, a level 2. Someone made a mistake in the construction of either the yard or the fenced off area, or did the construction of both areas but did not label. Can you imagine that? You'd have drawn everything up properly, did all of the calculations, everything is right and all of that, but because you did not label, you could not get a level 3, but now you would have gotten a level 2 simply because you did not label. So you see how paying attention to the little details can make a big difference. Clearly constructed either the backyard or the fenced area with correct and complete labeling and dimensions. Okay, so here we go now. Level 1, made a mistake in construction of both the yard and the fenced area, or draws one rectangle without labels or dimensions. And of course, level 0, you're off topic. The response is unrelated, or there's no response, or the response is uninterpretable. So for those people who have very poor penmanship, this is where your penmanship counts, because if the person marking cannot read what you have on your paper, you cannot get a score. You're going to get level 0 because it is uninterpretable. All right, so work on that penmanship. The handwriting must be nice, neat, and clear. So let's look at it now. Oh, it continues. It says, for the other part, correct calculation of the area and perimeter of the fenced off area designed in question 2. Scores do not depend on the correctness of the design, right? That's for that part. Incorrect calculation of either area or perimeter. So if I make an incorrect calculation, then I can't get a level 3. But if I calculate it correctly in keeping with what they asked of me before, then I'm good. Here, so level 1, both the area and the perimeter, both now, both in this one it was you get one of them right? But here both of them are incorrect. Scores did not depend on the correctness of the design. So your design could be incorrect, but your calculations can be correct, so again, you're getting more opportunities to score marks here. Level 0, again, you're off topic. It is unrelated. The paper is blank, no response, or for some reason your response is uninterpretable. So let's look at the response now. So the type of dog selected was the German Shepherd. And let's look at the person. The outline of the backyard has to be what? 400 square feet. So let's see. Let's make this a little smaller. Okay, so this person has 16 square feet here. Remember that each one of these represents 1 square foot. So we have 16 going here. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And you can clearly see that the line ends here. So that's 16 that way. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Clearly see that the line ends here. So instead of adding all of those and counting them 1, 1, we could simply say what, 25 by 16. And we say 6 5s would give us 30. We're going to write or 0 and carry 3. 6 2s 12, 12 and 3 would give us 15. That's our first line. We put our placeholder. We go 1 times 5 is 5 and 1 times 2 is 2. 0 and 0 0. 5 and 5 would make 10. I'm going to carry 1. 1 and 1 would make 2. 2 and 2 would make 4. So this person has accounted for all of the what? The 400 feet that make up the what? The backyard. Okay, so that's good. Let's see what else the person has. So the fenced off area now, they have here 10 square feet here. So this is within the backyard. So okay, they couldn't draw it outside of that. It must be within the backyard. So let's see if they really have 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Line stops there. Good. And they say that this is 10 by this appears to be 9. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So again, 9 times 10 would give us 90. And if it is that the largest dog needs 10, this would be more than enough for any of the dogs. Okay. So in terms of the physical setup, drawing it, laying it out, putting it on the grid paper or the square paper, then this person clearly would have done what they needed to do. Let's look at what the examiners have to say here, their little note. Let's make this a little larger. Okay. All right, so, okay. Construct a rectangular yard that is 400 square feet. And in this case, the person was using 16 by 25 and a fenced off area for the dog that is no more than 100 square feet. And when this person worked it out, would have gotten 90. Okay. But larger than the space needed for the dog, and that person has the 90. Yes, and the space is clearly labeled and the dimensions are stated. So here we have backyard in the big one, and we have fenced off place for the second one, and we see that the dimensions are there for the big one, and we see the dimensions for the smaller one. All right, fair enough. Let's go with the area. How do we find the area of a rectangle? This one. Let's go with this. We have 9, so this would be 9 long and 10 wide. Now, some people are going to look at this and say, boy, sir, this looks like a square. Okay, but remember, the definition of a square is that what? All sides are equal. And if this is 9 and this is 10, then the sides are not equal. All right, so this is what? 90 feet, because we have 9 times 10. So we get 90 feet. Okay, 90 square feet would be the area of this particular fenced off place. If the dog is supposed to be here, then this would be more than enough. So let's look at how they calculated the perimeter. Now remember that perimeter is the total distance around the shape. Okay, so we have 2 long sides and 2 wide sides. The 2 long sides are 9 and 9, so 9 twos would give us 18, and the 2 wide sides are 10 and 10. That would give us 20. So 18 and 20 give us 38 feet. There's one other calculation that we would have to do which is to know that 100 square, well, how they would have arrived at 100 square feet. Remember, if the whole backyard is 400 and we can use only a quarter, the maximum that we can use for this project is a quarter of it. That means that we can go 4 into itself one time and 4 into 400 100 times. So the total amount available to us for the project is 100 square feet. That's how they got that particular bit there. So let's go on now, and we see that the person has, answered this here. They put the information in. The fenced off area that they created was 90 square feet, and we see how they get the 38 there. All right, let's look at another one. And this one goes here. The person says that the type of dog that they have is a terrier, right? And we have the 20 here by 20. That gives us the total area for the backyard. And then within the backyard, they have an area here 9 by 7. And 9 times 7 would give us 63. So that would be more than enough for the terrier, because the terrier only needs 4. Yes, I think it's 4. Let's go. Yes. So the terrier only needs 4 square feet. So that's way more than the terrier actually needs. All right. So going back to our question now. Good. So it says the person constructed a regular yard that is 400 square feet, and they showed 20 by 20 giving you the 400, and a fenced off area for the dog that is no more than 100. The fenced off area here would have been 63 square feet, way less than the 100. The space is clearly labeled and the dimensions are stated. So here we have the dimensions here, dimension here, dimension here, dimension here. I see dog house. It's not really the dog house that is there still. That area must include the dog house, right? They say only one space is labeled. So I made my own note here. Not really the dog house. This is not the dog house. This is the area for the dog. So if you're going to put the dog house there, it must fall within that particular space. That's where it would be. All right. So here they have presented their information in that you have 400 feet for the entire backyard, and you have a perimeter of 80 feet. How would they get the 80 feet here? Again, they would measure the total distance around in order to get that. All right. Let's go to another response. This person says what type of dog they selected would have been the terrier. They have the backyard 20 centimeters. Now let's be careful with this now, because the dimensions here square feet, and this person is using pure centimeter. Again, we have to keep whatever units they asked us for. All right. So this now here, we look at it and say the person has 9 on the outside here, right? So if they have 9, how would this 20 times 9, how would that give us the 400 square feet we need for the entire backyard? Because 20 times 9 cannot be the same as 20 by 20 or 25 by 16. That it just doesn't give us the 400 square feet we need, right? And then we have the 9 here, but this 9 shouldn't really be here. It should be outside to make this, equal to the same length on the other side. Then we have 8 here and 8 here, 5 here and 5 here. So this can be confusing if this 9 is here. All right. So we have the backyard, we have the area that they're saying for the dog house. Again, there's some labeling issues here with the dog house. This is not really the dog house. This is the area that the dog house must be in. So they say this is level 2. Correctly construct the fence off area with the correct and complete labeling Of course, I don't necessarily like the labeling, but that's the way it is, and the dimensions there. All right, so let us be very careful, because this is leaning on the side of trouble. All right, and they said this is 1,600 centimeters squared and 26 centimeters squared, and show how they got their calculation here and how they worked out the perimeter. So they say that this is a level 2 because it shows the incorrect calculation of the area of the fenced off place. Let us be careful. Finally, we have response D, type of dog selected with a boxer, and here we have the person drawing, and clearly we can see we have a lot of things missing as compared with the other responses we have seen before. So did the construction of both areas correctly but did not label. So automatically you get a level what? A level 2. So even though this person would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20 by 2400, and here it is a 20 by 20 there, so right, and they would have done this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 30. Any one of the dogs could hold in there. So all of that is correct, but they did not label. And here, fenced off area 60, and this is 30, right? Both area and the perimeter are incorrect. I'm not certain if this is for this one. I think it might be for the one that's above. This might be for the one that's below. So here we have good. This is 20 by 11, so that's not correct. And 15 by, all right. So made a mistake in construction of both the yard and the fenced area. Rectangles have no labels. All right, guys, I think that we are getting the idea that we really, okay, so here the person draws one rectangle without labels or dimensions. Let's look. All right, and again, no appropriate response here is given. So I hope we're getting the idea, though, that when we're doing something like this, and this was just a little part of the question, there's more, because there's a part that asks you to go on now and to say how you're going to calculate the cost to make sure that you are within budget. So I hope you're seeing how the mathematics builds on itself. And you have to try your best to make sure that you are focused on answering what they asked you for. All right, guys, all the best. Take care. I'll see you in the next episode.